As a guitar player in a band, your job is defined by two words: lead or rhythm. Not shred king, not star of the show, not solo master. Lead or rhythm. Got it? Hey, and welcome to Music Space, where we help working musicians just like you learn how to quickly and easily make a living with your craft. So if you're new here to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded. So this is the third video I'm doing on the series of the jobs of musicians in bands. And we've already talked about vocalists and drummers. And in this video, we are talking about guitar players. The gods of the shred, the holders of the mighty legacy of Hendrix and Van Halen and Chuck Berry and B.B. King and... You know what? Can you turn your guitar amp down a little bit? It's a little loud. Thanks. So guitars are a really cool instrument to play. Whether you play electric or electric acoustic or anything in between, guitar is one of the more fun instruments to play for sure. And a lot of the things I'm going to discuss in this video are more geared toward the electric guitar because it's simply the most common guitar that you'll probably find in most working and gigging bands. But these things absolutely apply to the other guitars as well. But as a guitar player in a band, you are one of the few instruments that kind of has their job kind of defined in the name. And again, I mentioned that in the intro, and that's lead or rhythm. And these two sort of simple jobs that guitar players have are a lot of times either just glossed over by a lot of guitar players that play with bands, or they're either taken to these like weird extremes. So like guitar players either put no real thought into which of these roles, lead or rhythm, he or she should play when it comes to the band they're playing with and the music they're playing, or they want to play riffs and licks the entire show, the entire night of the gig, thereby getting in the way of the other instruments and the other vocalists, or, you know, playing like fancy chords throughout the whole show. And to make it all worse and exacerbate this problem, there's really no thought into like the sound, the tone, and the effects that a lot of guitar players use with respect to what works best with the band and the music they're playing with. So a lot of times you end up with the band or the rest of the instrumentalists having a particular sound or tone, and then the guitar player has like this weird tone that just kind of doesn't fit or work with the band. And with respect to being a professional musician and a professional guitarist, this is one of the first things that guitar players need to start focusing on. As a guitar player in a band, you have got to stop selecting sounds and effects and tones simply based off what you like when you're warming up or when you're practicing at home in your headphones. I know you have the cool Line 6 Helix or the Boss GT 1000 or, a host of, your own custom pedal board effects that you've made up with all of the chorus and delay and reverb and effects and distortion and all of that. And all of that is great. All of that is cool. But if you have not taken the time to hash through these effects with the intent of figuring out what works with the music you're playing, what works best with the music you're playing, and what works best with the band you're playing with, then really all you're doing is just kind of being selfish, frankly speaking, and you're not being a part of the team and a part of the band. So you got to put some time and energy in thinking about how those things, those effects and tones and sounds apply to what you're doing with the music you're playing and with the band you're playing with. Now, right before we get to the next thing, if you're getting value out of this video so far, do me a quick favor and subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on this video. Go ahead and do that now. That lets me know that you appreciate this content, and it lets me know what type of content I should make for you in the future. And that's another thing, guitar players. When you're playing with a band, you are in fact a part of a band. Unless it's the case where you are the feature and, the other instruments and the, people playing are there to back you up and you're the solo act and you're the, star of the show, you are a part of a team. And this means that you have to be disciplined in your playing. And I know being disciplined is something that's really tough for a lot of guitar players because, a lot of guitar players got into the game and started playing because of the fun and the attention that you get from playing guitar. You know, there was this thing that 60 Minutes did some years ago about what was the sexiest instrument to play, and I believe that guitar was #2 on that list. And you can agree or disagree with that, and that's all cool. But the fact of the matter is that there are just certain instruments that tend to get more attention and are frankly more fun to play than others. But nevertheless, you as a guitar player, you have to stay disciplined and you have to stay focused on the music and on the musicians and the band that you're playing with. And that means you gotta rein in all of those, fancy riffs and runs that you've been practicing and all of the fancy chords, and put some focus on the music. And that leads me to another thing, guitar players: play the music the way it's actually supposed to go. Guitars are one of those instruments that when they're a part of songs, they tend to have, specific parts that make the song, what it is. And a lot of times those specific parts are brushed over for, riffs, runs, and fancy chords, or just, using the number system. Oh, it's a 5 chord, so you play the major or whatever the case may be. But you got to focus on learning the music and playing it the way it actually goes. And as an example of this, it's evident in songs like Brown Eyed Girl. When you hear a lot of guitar players playing, they tend to not even play that whole part, that dun 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 dun, where the guitar player starts the song, and they just tend to play the the one chord and the 4 chord. A lot of guitar players brush over the actual parts in that song and play the chords instead, when that's an integral part of that song. And a lot of songs, especially a lot of current songs and a lot of 70s, 80s, 90s songs and things like that that we tend to play in gigging bands, were written on guitars. And in a lot of cases, that makes the guitar an integral part of the song, or at least a very important part of the song. So as a guitar player in a band, you have got to start putting some time in learning the music, how it actually goes. Now, another thing is, when it comes to taking solos as a guitar player, look, I know you got all of the behind the neck, playing the guitar with your teeth, jumping up and down and turning around tricks under your sleeve as a guitar player. And those things are absolutely cool. They're great. So keep them. But while you're doing all of your solo tricks and you're in your feature and you're doing your thing, that's cool, just keep in mind that there still is a band that's playing behind you. Don't get lost in your solo and forget about the band, and you come back in on some weird odd time signature or time measure rather, or measure in the song like measure 61, where the band is like, what the heck just happened? And come to think of it, if you're soloing that long on, say, the average song of around 100 beats or 120 beats per minute, your solo is probably a little too long anyway, so you might want to consider reining it back a bit. But again, it's cool. Your solo time is your time to shine. So shine and do your thing. But again, just be cognizant that there is a band behind you and you still have to be musical. You have to come back in on the right beat, and your solo kind of needs to make sense and fit with what the band is doing. Now, all of these things fit into this sort of category or under the umbrella of the professional musician or the professional guitar player. I tend to make the point of professionalism a lot here in the videos on the channel, and that's because professionalism is one of the keys to success in the music industry. And on that road to success, on that particular path, there's just a particular way, there are a certain way that things are when it comes to playing with bands and playing with other musicians. And it all starts with things like playing the music correctly and being disciplined and being cognizant that you are a part of a unit or a team, and you have other band members around you that you have to respect, that you have to think about when you're doing things musically. But the question is for you, are you a guitar player? If so, what are some things that you think guitar players need to focus on, when it comes to learning music, when it comes to playing with bands? Jump down in the comment section and let me know. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. And hey, did you know that there are a bunch of free resources that I've put together just for you? Everything from a free ebook that will give you 10 tips to make more money as a musician, to free contracts that you can use to book high-paying gigs, to set list templates, and much, much more. And again, they're all free, and you can find the download links to them in the description of this video. So be sure to jump down and check those out. And listen, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope that it was helpful for you and gave you some insight on the job of a guitar player in a band. And here are some other videos that you can check out right now.